It's been a while, so has there been any progress on Little Wotton? Let me show you. It's been a while since I've done any filming of Little Wotton, so I thought I'd give you a quick update of where I've got to. Not much has happened, mainly because of family bereavement, which has obviously taken time and things. But following the making of the hill, following the ballasting, I've then got on to doing starting the Scenics. And the first thing I've done is the larger hill. And I'll just show you that now and show you how far it's got. Well, here's the hill. Here's Little Wotton itself. There's the layout. You can see it's ongoing. But what I've done is I've done some of the static grass, put a couple of trees on, a bit of scenery. I'm currently working down here, doing this face here. And what I've used is the plaster cloth. And then I use polyfiller, actually the light polyfiller, just to fill in, because it's very easy to mold and it's readily available. So I basically will fill in where there are gaps. If I come around here, you will see, if I just go into there, plaster cloth still clearly showing, but with a bit of polyfiller, and I must admit I use a finger sort of rubbing it in. What I can do is then get that sort of finished there, which is for me looking as I want the rock to be. And then once it's painted up, what you get is something like this. So this is the little mountain as it is at the moment. Again, static grass down here, some shrubs there, showing the rock through. And just basically playing with it and just seeing how it looks. Now, it's not long since I've finished this, so it's still drying a bit. But that's very much how I wanted it to look. And there's the mountain. And coming down, and you can see there's the green slope. I'm going to fill in here. This will all be green as well. I'm making it a sort of a scenic view here. And then you've got this mountain hill to work on. Of course, there'll be a tunnel entrance there to put in. So there we are. That's how far we've got. And as I said, it's slow progress, but it's getting there. Now, as I think I've said before, our plan is to have a station just here. And this is the base for the platform. We need to raise it up so it'll be the same level, right level for the rails. I'm thinking I'll have a road coming in through here into this area, and we have a car park area just here for the station building. And I might have a little road going off down through there to the back there, but we'll see. Not much progress, but a little bit. It's getting there. My next thing to do is just keep on going around here with my polyfiller to fill in all the little dips and get rid of the obvious plaster cloth. Then what I will do is then I'll paint it. I'll basically paint it in most of the places where it's going to show rock, like here, that'll be slate grey probably. Other places I'll obviously paint brown for earth, and then it'll be a case of putting the static grass on and working it through. So, of course, still lots to do, but we will get on with that shortly. And hopefully things will progress a bit quicker over the next 3 or 4 weeks. I'd certainly like to get to a point where the basic Scenics is done, but that'll be a while. So anyway, there is the hill as it's got so far, and work in progress. And I'll be back later, hopefully, with more of the Scenics done. So just going to continue on with the filling in the polyfiller. I don't know if you want to see this, but this is basically what I do. I just get little bits on the fingers and then just rub it in. Polyfillers or similar products can be quite fast drying, so you may sometimes not want to. I maybe took a bit too much of the polyfiller onto my spatula here. That's all right. Again, it's all just... And the other thing I found about this polyfillers is that obviously once they dry, you can, if you need to, sand them. So there we go, that's smoothing out, and I will continue with the rest and be back later. Of course, the other thing to remember when you're doing this is that in some cases you'll be covering places with static grass, so it doesn't matter if there are little holes still there because the grass will cover them over. So it's basically trying to make sure just where the rock face is likely to show, where you might be showing earth, this is smooth as possible. The other thing I've found is if you're using the polyfiller, you can, if you want, of course, create more contours and things. You can leave a larger bit of polyfiller to dry and create another rock and that sort of thing if you want to. So I think that is probably as far as I'm going to do there, because this here is going to have grass. So if I just move it in a minute. So although the plaster is showing there, I'm going to have static grass in there and that'll cover it no trouble. The same here. I've now sort of filled in there, around there, so that it's have some rock faces. So the next thing I'm going to do is move back, so not move back, move down to start working on this. Another thing you can do, of course, is you can use your spatula, just put bigger lumps on to start with, smooth them out. And yes, there does come a point where you think, oh, it's taking longer than I wanted it to, so I'll do the rush job. And once I've done that, I'm then going to use my fingers to just rub the polyfiller into the plaster cloth. So get rid of as much of those little holes as possible. So there we go, that's continuing. I'm going to have to get some more polyfiller. Another thing you could do, of course, is mix a bit of paint with the polyfiller. I don't know if you can see that little grey area there, which would save painting later, but in this case I'm just going to use the polyfiller as it is. Well, that's the first set of polyfiller, or first coat of polyfiller. I haven't gone over all of that. I've filled in as much as I can. It won't take long to dry, in fact it's very fast drying. So the next thing I'm going to do is just get some paint and start sort of marking out where I would have earth and rocks and things like that. Then obviously where I paint it brown, that's where I'll put static grass. When I paint it the grey, it'll be rock face hopefully, and the plan is to have something on this side that will very much look like what we have over there in terms of finish. And I said all in there will be just grass, static grass, then up the hill. So that'll be the next thing, is to get some paint and just effectively paint over, mark where I would expect there to be rock showing through, and also where I plan to put static grass. I must admit this brown is, well, it's burnt sienna, and of course it is quite an orangey colour, but that's alright. It's just to form a backdrop for when I'm doing the static grass later, and just to make sure hopefully there's no white showing through. So we're just liberally applying it. Having painted very roughly where the rocks are and where the earth is going to be, I'm ready now to start applying some static grass. I've tried to leave the rock fairly rough, as you can see, just trying to give it that look of being a rock, and if needs be we'll come back to it. We can always add later if we want, but for now it gives the impression of slightly different shades of grey, and we'll see what it looks like once we put the static grass on. So the next thing is the static grass. We're getting there, or I'm getting there, slowly. So there's the other mountain, a few bushes on it, a tree in the background there, some grass. Now I've got that section in the middle there, just here, that I want to put grass down to complete, so connect the two together. So that'll be the last thing I'll probably do today, and then I'll just have to leave it all to dry, and then we will come back. Of course, we've got all this front area to do, which, as I said, is going to have a station here probably a courtyard road in, and of course there's the bottom of the other hill around there to be done, but that'll be in due course. So I'm quite pleased with that. I'm quite pleased the way those mountains are looking, the hills rather. They look quite good. There's obviously some finishing off to do in terms of tunnel mouths and things like that, but it's coming on. And as I said, I'm just going to put the static grass down to connect those two bits together, and that'll be it for the day. And there we are. That is the grass done between the two mountains. It'll obviously take a bit of drying. I'll do my usual. I quite often then go and add a few highlights, just using darker grass in places. But I think that's looking quite good, and I'm quite pleased with that. So just a quick overview. That's what we've got at the moment. Centre bit done, and we're ready to move on to the outside and stationary and things. So there we are. The previous bit of video was done quite a while ago, and I must admit Little Wotton has progressed even further, but I haven't managed to catch it on video. So the following is just really a little video showing Little Wotton as it is now, with a few trains running. And I hope you enjoyed. I hope you'll see the way things have progressed. And I think, to be honest, it's almost finished. So what will I do with it then? I don't know.